Hey, this is Shobit from Intentional Product Manager, and today we'll be talking about how do you become more influential as a product manager. Stay tuned for more. Most product managers come and tell me, Shobit, how do I become more influential? How do I really be the person that people go to for answers, who people trust, who people come to for being the go-to expert on a certain thing, who people listen to, who people align with. Like, it is such an important skill because look, at the end of the day, you are responsible for an outcome for your product, but you don't control all those resources. Your engineers don't report to you. Your designers often don't report to you. Your sales team definitely does not report to you. And a lot of this is by design. It's because we want to see perspectives from different people and want to get them bought in so that the whole company is moving with collective intelligence rather than the direction of one person. So that's the intent behind it. So how do you become more influential as a product manager? Well, I'm going to give you a few ways to do that. Let's begin the first, which is you must learn to love influence. You might say, Shobit, of course, I love influence. That's cool. But the moment somebody else is more influential than you, that love might go out the window. You might start taking names like, the dirty word, politics. That look, I have this whole thing, but there is all this politics going on in my organization, and so I can't influence anyone. And, it's a bad place to work. I'm going to move on. Really common case where I see people. It's like, oh, yeah, that other person is friends with my manager. So they are partial to them. They're biased against me. Like, all these stories start to come. And for me, it's going back to, hey, you've started to dislike this game of influence because you are not winning right now. And maybe you need to up level your skills and learn to know that politics, it's just a form of social influence that exists in every organization, and you can take a very positive view of it and learn to embrace it, or you can take a very negative view of it and discourage everything with politics. Say, I don't advocate for myself, I don't advocate for my team, that's just like politics and other people do that. And then, of course, you will not be influential as a product manager. So the more you take a positive view of what people consider politics, which is just basically social influence flowing through an organization, that is one of the things that's causing you from not being able to be very influential. Number two, how do you become more influential? You assume good intent. What does that mean? So, back to when people are not learning to love influence, one of the reasons is that they assume that everyone has this like malice, very self-centered. They only want to watch out for them. They're actively doing work to undermine you as a product manager for whatever reasons. Like, all these stories exist. And one of the ways I've gotten people to quickly start to become so much more influential is for them to assume positive intent. That look, whoever I'm trying to influence, they're doing the best they can under what they know, under their upbringing, the way they've viewed the world, like whatever it is, they're doing the best they can. So I'm going to assume positive intent. I'm going to assume that at some level, they want what's best for the organization. At some level, that they want something that's best for me. They want best for their coworkers. And when people change that perspective, suddenly they start to notice different things. Because look, we all don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. Let me say that again. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. We have this thing called reticular activating system that is part of our brain that is a filtering mechanism. And what it's doing is that rather than just presenting the world as it is, it's filtering out and presenting the things that you are telling it in some level to look for. And it has to do that because, like, just think of it. Like, right now, me recording this video, if I look here, I have like all these my pictures of clients, pictures of family, this phone over here, the screen behind me, like everything is around here. And if my brain immediately tries to process everything that's going on, it just won't be able to. The eyes are too powerful, the brain is not able to process at that speed. So it's trying to, take all these senses and trying to present to you some partial picture. So when you start to assume good intent, you start to notice things in people that make them more likable to you, and in turn make you more likable to them, and build those relationships which become the foundation of influence. So assume good intent would be the next thing. Then after that, one of the best things you can do is to start to put yourself in their shoes. What does that mean? Well, I've often seen product managers try to influence from a perspective of they have this massive vision. It's going to change the company, it's going to change this organization, the changes they're proposing are going to change lives for the customers and everything. But they miss one part, which is like, for the person they're trying to influence, what does it personally mean for them? You might say, sure, but everyone should just be thinking of the customers all the time. Why should I be the one thinking of the customers? No, frankly speaking, I think everyone is thinking of the customers, and they are thinking of their coworkers, and they are thinking of their company. But there's a part of them that's thinking of themselves. We have survival mechanisms built in. We have to watch out for ourselves if we want to survive. We got to survive. That's just part of our brain. And so the more you can put yourself in the shoes and draw that line from why what you're proposing is personally beneficial for them, the more you're going to have influence on them. Sounds simple, but there's a lot of nuance. Like, you can't really say, hey, and then you'll be able to generate more sales, so you should support this. You have to be more subtle about it, and those are things we cover in Product Leader Blueprint. But you have to be able to draw that line and put yourself in their shoes. Number 4 is bring data and customer insight. You could debate endlessly, but where I've seen product managers show remarkable influence is doing things like everyone's talking about this, and then, they're expressing their opinions on a particular topic. And the product manager comes and says, hey, you know what? I spoke to 10 customers, and here's the themes that I found. And everyone looks at them and goes, whoa, you spoke to 10 customers? Ears open. Or, I looked through the data. Here's some interesting trends that I found. Whoa, you looked at the data? People can't argue with that. They just can't. They can argue with like partial views of customers. So one of the situations that I often see is like a CEO or maybe a VP of product goes on a customer tour, talks to 2 customers, and it's like, this is what we need to do. And you as a product manager, you're like, okay, well, I've spoken to 20 customers, and this is what I know what the market is looking for. So bring data and customer insight. Number 5 is learn to storytell and inspire people. Bring them to a level above. All of us are looking for a higher meaning. I know I mentioned earlier we are looking out for ourselves, but we're also looking for higher meaning. We want to know that our work matters, we deliver something meaningful, our contributions matter. And so you got to pull people up. The more you're going to be that person who inspires them, that tells that story that they get bought in with, you'll see that they look to you as someone who can lead them, and your influence will multiply. Now, there's so much to cover in storytelling and other things. I could go like do tons of videos, like I do whole content on this in different programs, but that is a piece that inspiring people is going to be a very important aspect, especially you're going to become a product leader, leading teams of PMs, leading broad charters. Those things will really matter. Number 6, learn to build your reputation. Okay, very consistently build your reputation and brand. And more than anything, be trustworthy. Whatever you're saying today and how much ever influential you are today, that is really a reflection of everything you've done in the past and your reputation and the reputation that you've built till now. A common situation I see is like product managers who are on day one of their job and they feel like no one's listening to them. And part of it is I tell them, look, that's okay. It's going to take some time. You haven't built your reputation in the company yet. People don't know you as yet. While they see somebody else come in and just say something and people will go like, oh, yes, of course. Everything you say is what we're going after. Okay. That's because they've done the work in the past. They've paid the dues. So you get more influential over time. Just example, like I have built enough influence on YouTube and LinkedIn and all these places such that if I express opinion on things, people do tend to listen. They do tend to pay attention. So you must then focus on your reputation. And the thing is that the more you adopt a role model mindset here, where you like always assume that people are looking. And so you want to act in a way such that they consider you a role model, which means like declaring your intent, owning your screw ups, taking complete extreme ownership, not giving into excuses, not giving into gossip. That's going to build your reputation over time. Delivering good stuff, communicating the stuff that you've built. So like this reputation part is such a important thing. Number 7, I'm going to say the last thing, which is put them in your shoes. Might sound the opposite of what I said. I said you should learn to put yourself in their shoes, but you can also put themselves in your shoes. As an example, like somebody is working with a customer and the customers told them, hey, we need this capability, otherwise we're out. And they come to you and you say, no, it doesn't align with anything, we can't do that. And so they're like, no, but this is my customer. But now you got to start to put them in your shoes. You got to be like, okay, look, currently I've been told we've aligned as an organization that these 3 are the biggest priorities. Okay, that is the thing that's there. How am I supposed to accommodate this? How am I supposed to add in this one more thing and still achieve it? And make them solve the problem for you. The fact is they won't be able to solve this problem for you, right? And because they won't be able to solve this problem for you, now suddenly they start to get that more empathy for you, more sympathy for you. They're like, oh yeah, like I see where you're coming from. And they might agree with you, they might not agree, and they might still be still escalated and whatnot, but at least your perspective is clear and you showed not just your perspective, but openness. Openness in, hey, if you can help me come up with a solution that works for us overall, I am open to it. But here, put them in your shoes. So to recap, learn to love influence. Don't be afraid of politics. Assume good intent. Put yourself in the shoes of people you're trying to influence. Bring data and customer insight. Learn to inspire and motivate people. Build your reputation. That's the cornerstone. Be trustworthy. And last but not least, also learn how to put people in your shoes. Now, if you like this video, I bet that you will love being part of Product Leader Blueprint, where influence is one of those topic accelerators that we cover amongst many other things. So I'm going to leave a link here for you to book a call with us. And hopefully we can, help you become so much more influential, just an amazing product manager. And look forward to speaking with you soon.